Hi, y'all. I'm Artemis Pebdani, and I play Grandma Alice on Big City Greens.
Oh.
Yeah. Yay! Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm Bob Joles, and I'm Bill Green on the show, along with some other various characters here and there, but mostly Bill.
Right on. So, unfortunately, I'd mentioned to Bob, I've never actually seen the show, so I feel a little underprepared. I know, table flip,
Come on,
right?
Artemis, let's get out of here.
We're done.
I was actually just in Texas with a friend of mine, and he's like, "Oh, you're gonna have people from Big City Greens at your show," and I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I'm jealous. I want to go." Well, come on out.
Feed me questions.
Yeah, I can help.
Do you have him in your phone?
I probably do. Yeah.
You should probably FaceTime him right now.
Why
Why not?
Let me see what I.
Whatever actually happened between the family that he chose to move to town? Because I never watched all the episodes to find out, so it's more story related.
So, do you mean between Bill and his ex-wife Nancy?
What?
Okay, that has never been explained fully. Part of it had to do with Nancy being somewhat of a political activist, and so she was going into an animal research facility and freed a whole bunch of cows and got caught doing it. So she went to the Stony Lonesome, if you will, for a little while.
Well, she shouldn't be getting caught. Let's start there.
Exactly. But Wendy McClendon Covey is not here to answer for herself, so neither are Chris and Shane, who created the show.
Aw.
Honestly, no. It's just whenever we're in a place to watch it, I usually make sure it's one of the ones on. So
That's so
thank you very
cool,
much.
Kevin.
Good show.
Excellent.
Thank
Thank you for being a fan, and your family too.
Yeah, glad you're not in the hospital anymore, little
Yes.
Her name's
Thank you.
Piper.
Piper. Glad you're not in the hospital anymore.
Thank you, but we do actually have to get back to this now. So thank you very much. You guys have a good panel.
See you later, Kevin.
Bye.
Oh, it's
See,
Dave.
now the panel is complete.
What was one moment in Big City Greens that either made you laugh so hard you fell on the floor or made your jaw drop?
Oh, let's think. Laugh so hard or made my jaw drop. I might need a second of this. I'm not good on the spot when people ask me like your favorite or your blah blah blah. I go blank for a second, so I might
Top two.
pass this to you till I.
All right, I'll go. One of the funniest sequences that I remember is in True Believer, when Bill is in his underwear standing on top of the house with his tinfoil hat, waiting for the aliens to come down, and then when he finally pulls the rug out from underneath Cricket, and he says, "I flip flap and gotcha." I thought that was one of the funniest things that Bill ever got to do.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I just thought of something, but it hasn't come out yet, so I can't talk about it.
Oh.
I know,
okay.
but I'm gonna
Wait
do
for
this,
season
so I can-
5.
It's-
Okay.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Sorry, so
Okay.
it happened,
Yeah,
but you're gonna have to wait.
it'll be coming till next year, but
Yeah.
you'll enjoy it.
All right. Well, watch season 5 then.
Yes, thank you.
Do you guys have any favorite bloopers, like any mistakes that was your favorite?
Oh, do you?
Yes, but I can't repeat them in this room.
Oh.
Because usually once I start going off track, I start swearing, and it's not a good habit to be in. There have been some nice classic bloopers, but to pull one out of a hat right now, I don't think I can tell you. But there have been some great ones that have happened.
I don't make mistakes.
She's the consummate professional actress.
But I do remember, it's not quite a blooper, but along the lines of, what was the episode where they kind of showed Bill's bum a little bit? Just like it was
that was
in the
Swimming
wa-
Fool.
Yes. And there was such a big issue. Do you remember? There was a huge issue with standards.
Standards and Practices was not about to let that go.
And it was just the side of it because the swimming pool had like taken the trunks
the
away or
little
something.
spa off to the side, the filter sucked his pants off of him.
Yeah. So all the adults had to get into a room and debate like, how
Is
much
this
of Bill's
apropos?
bum are we allowed to see, and what is appropriate and what is not? And honestly, it's probably good they have that conversation.
Thank you
In case there's a censor out there
Yeah.
listening.
Good job, censor. Good job.
Good question. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
Were there any bloopers or ad-libs that you did that made it into the show? Like you read the lines as is, and then you decided to go a different route with it, and then it actually made it into the show?
Oh, those things I feel like usually happen in group responses where like somebody will say something and then they'll write the responses out where it'll be like, hey, yeah, good job. Not a good idea, bro. So it usually happens in that where they're like subtle toss-ins, so nothing's really highlighted, you know what I mean? But those are the only real times I can think of where we ad-lib and it's funny.
Yeah, most of the time, they're real sticklers about what's in the script.
Yeah.
And the only time that it gets changed is when we have a pickup session and they've, you see, your name and the line and where it is and the time code, and there'll be in parentheses by the line it says NL, new line. So
Oh.
they've either added it or they've
that
taken
what
the old.
that means?
Yes. See, I'm teaching even as I'm doing this.
Oh, I've only been doing it for a few years now.
Just a few years. We've only been doing it since 2015, so it's only 10 years that we've been doing this show.
Learned something new.
Just one of those things you take for granted. You're like, whatever. It's some weird acronym. Who knows?
You might have already answered this because we walked in just a little late. So, what is your favorite episode of Big City Greens and why?
Oh, I am really into the musical episodes because I feel like they really start to bring out like I don't know, there are more people involved and it becomes more of an event. I remember there was a pretty great Halloween episode that was a musical episode that was really cool. I'm gonna stick with that.
I would say Spacecation, the movie.
Oh, that was cool.
There's a lot of singing in that, a lot of music that went into it that our composer Joachim Horsley wrote. Got to use a full orchestra for that. And it was a really well done movie. The script was well thought out, a lot of revisions in it, a lot of things we had to go back and change a couple of times. But I think it speaks for itself with how well that movie turned out.
What's your favorite line from Big City Greens?
I heard you. What's your name?
Addison.
Allison. Hi, bless you. Allison. I like any of the lines where I get to say the word sword. So it's, here's my sword. Or I get to yell at bandits anytime I get to say the word bandit. Oh, I love that. Really, I like the more violent lines. Is that okay to say here in front of the children? Okay.
Well, if it's in the show, it's all right.
Right. I didn't write it.
It's cartoon violence. I mean, look at the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. My favorite line that Bill gets to say, every once in a while, Bill gets to say cheese and crackers.
Oh, like darn it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheese and crackers.
Ding dang it. Bill has a lot of little colloquialisms that he likes to use. But, he's just a fun character to play. Love doing it. Thanks for your question.
If you could transport your character to any other show universe, doesn't have to be a cartoon, what would it be and why?
Oh, that's interesting. I feel like Grandma would do great in a cop procedural. Something where who are the big ones? The captain? Is the captain the big one? Something where she gets to boss people around and be like,
Sure.
You did a great job today, or you did so badly today. I'm ashamed of what you did out there. I'm one of those. I think she'd be good in a cop show.
Law and Order.
Law and Order, yeah.
Judge Judy.
Oh,
Or, you could Judge Grandma.
Judge Grandma would be fantastic.
If I could move Bill into anything else, and most of the people in the audience will not understand this, the real McCoys or Green Acres. Bill would do great. He'd do great up against Mr. Haney on Green Acres. Mr. Douglas, look out here on the truck. I got a genuine Stradivarius piano. Mr. Haney, Stradivarius didn't make pianos. You see how rare and valuable it is?
Good answer.
That was Pat Buttram.
Thank you, Allison.
Yes.
Yes.
And my second one.
Yes.
I'm so curious. If Grandma Alice met Artemis from It's Always Sunny,
Yes.
how do you think that interaction would go down?
Oh, how interesting. Honestly, I think they would get along pretty well because they both are people who are very comfortable with themselves. Yeah. Artemis is kind of chill with anyone as long as they're chill with themselves. Yeah.
It's true.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Allison.
If you could be any other character, who would you be and why?
On our show or just any show?
On Big City Greens.
Ooh. I mean, Grandma is so fun, but
If you had your druthers.
I know it's so hard though. I'm like, okay, I do like. There's something amazing about Tilly and how. I don't know. She could go either way. You're like, is she's so pure and so honest that it like teeters on a weird darkness. but she's so beautifully like sweet and honest. It's so beautifully played. I could never do that. That's just Mary F. That is Mary F.
She's brilliant at it.
Yeah.
If I could be another character on the show, I love Mayor Handsock.
Oh.
And that's done by Andy.
Oh.
Conan O'Brien's old
Yeah, it'll
sidekick.
come to me in a second. Andy was a teacher of mine, by the way, long
Was he?
ago. Yeah. And I can't remember his last name, but he is great.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Andy.
It'll come to both of us as
That
soon as
is
the panel's
always-
over with.
Yeah, exactly.
If you see us in the hall, we'll remember. Just come up and
Yeah.
ask.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Also wondering how you prepare maybe differently from other characters you've played for Bill and for Alice.
Wait, I have one thing. Are you the 6-year-old? Hi. Let me tell you the craziest thing. You look like one of my nephews. Except now he just turned 22 like a couple days ago.
Oh, okay.
But you look like him a long time ago, so not right now. He doesn't look like you right now. Okay. What's your name? Harrison. Hi, that's a good name. Hi, Harrison. My prep usually goes like this. And it's a lot of that.
It's hard to. It's the same for every character that I do. I mean, there isn't anything specifically that different. I know where to place everything to do stuff. If it's a gravelly voice, I know how to not hurt myself. If it's a very sweet and smooth voice, like doing Treebeard, it's in a very soft place, and I can reach that really quickly.
Wait, do you do any sort of warm up or anything at all?
I get up out of bed and I go have a glass of orange juice and maybe a coffee and.
Very acidic things. Okay.
That just gets all the phlegm out of there. And
Wow. Okay.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Ann.
How did you get into voice acting?
Layla, nice to meet you, Layla.
Nice to meet you,
I'm
too.
Artemis. You know what? I auditioned maybe 200 times is how I got in. Oh no, my neighbor once needed to do a video for her advertising agency. They were doing awards for the advertising agency, so it wasn't even advertising. So I had to sit in a room and be like, Derek Smith has been working with blah, blah, blah advertising agency for blah, blah. So maybe that was the first gig I had. I didn't get paid. But otherwise, to get into it professionally, just a lot of auditions.
Hi, Layla. I got into voice acting, excuse me, sort of through the side door. I was a professional musician. I have degrees in music education from Cal State Long Beach. I was going to be a band director somewhere. And I wound up playing at Disneyland. And then Disneyland, I moved out to Florida to work at Epcot for a while. But while I was in Florida, I met a guy named Bob Barnes, and he took a liking to me and started showing me the ropes of how to do voiceover. And I started off by doing lots of commercials, for the Orlando Sentinel and other local things that were down there. And Bob showed me all the ropes. And I got an agent through that there in Orlando, and then moved back to Southern California after being in Orlando for 11 years. And I got in with one of the top agents in Los Angeles, Don Pitts, and Don really liked what I was doing. And it just kind of went off from there. So that was 1993, long before you were born. And it took a full year of doing auditions before I landed my first role. And that role was doing the voice of Sneezy for Snow White on Ice, the ice show.
That's cool.
And I had 24 hours to learn how to do the voice and how to do the sneezes. The voice was very easy. It was the sneezes that I concentrated on because I knew that's where the biggest part of the gig was. So there were 7 lines and each one had a different sneeze. And I studied that all night, and I went in the next morning at my regular job. Then in the afternoon when I was done, I went over to the agency and I auditioned. I did it in one take, and the booth director asked me if I wanted to do it again. I said, no, I think I'm very happy with what I did. And she said, you did a great job. We'll see what happens. And then a week went by, and I didn't hear anything. Then 2 weeks went by, and I didn't hear anything. So I just sort of gave up on it and figured somebody else got it and, just move on to the next. At the end of the 3rd week, I heard that I got it. And I was very excited, and I went in for my first job in Los Angeles with Jim Cummings, the voice of Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, as doing Doc. Bill Farmer, the voice of Goofy, was Sleepy. Jeff Glenn Bennett, the voice of Johnny Bravo and countless other animated favorites, was doing the voice of Bashful. Kevin Schoen was doing the voice of Happy, and Corey Burton was the voice of Grumpy. And I looked at these guys who had huge resumes, and I said, Bob who? But they welcomed me in with open arms, and I'm still very good friends with all of them. And my career just slowly built up from there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great question.
Thank you.
If you don't want to do this, I don't want to pressure you,
No,
but
please.
I don't remember what Sneezy sounds like.
Sneezy is very adenoidal.
Uh-huh.
Billy Gilbert was the character actor who did him initially, and he sounds like this. Be sure to watch out for the...
Ooh, that was good. You have such distinguished gentleman voice, so it's so fun to hear you do not distinguished gentleman.
Thank you, my dear. It's wonderful to hear that.
What are the stuff that you'd recommend for people who want to get into voice acting? Because I'm really for quite some time now I've wanted to get into English dubbing for anime.
Oh, cool. I don't know if I have any specific advice in that. I think that's, first of all, amazing that you would have that skill, that you're able to be bilingual, and that you're interested in that. I think watching people who do that and paying attention in a professional way is very important. Can you hear me? I'm sorry, I'm not talking on mic, but we're not far. So I think just paying attention with the intention that you want to do it professionally is really the first key step. And then slowly but surely, unfortunately, everything to do with acting is meh, nobody gives you good information. So it just starts to be a down the rabbit hole search of who are the people who already do that, and getting to know about those people and maybe asking those people, and some of them are nice enough to tell you or to be this is how I started.
Good answer. My advice would be to make sure that when you're doing a voice, if it's a character voice, that you can sustain it. You can say maybe a sentence or two, and then you lose the voice, the character that you're trying to create. It's not going to do you any good. You need to be able to sustain a voice throughout an entire, animated, segment of, whatever it is you're doing. The other thing is to practice acting in any way, shape, or form that you can. Open up a book and read aloud. Be very confident in being able to read and make it sound cohesive. It can't be broken up into little bits and pieces here and there. You need to be able to stretch it all the way out to the end and make it sound like it's been your original thought, not written on a piece of paper. And take some acting classes. That's the best way to go about trying to get into this crazy business. Hope that helps.
Thanks, y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
It's super cool.
It was a pleasure
Thank
chatting
you very
with
much,
all.
everybody. Please give a big round of applause to Bob and Artemis. Thank you. They're going to be headed back to their tables. So by all means, go see them. Say hi again. Get some signed stuff. Get a picture.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you much, everybody.